We've got some really wonderful music that we're going to play for you. Now, normally Mr. Wylie performs with his band, known as Wylie and the Wild West. I'm not sure we're as cool as the Wild West, but today we're going to be Wylie and the Classics Philharmonic. Yeehaw. We're going to start with a piece that Wylie wrote. This one's called Hoop Up Trail, and I think you're really going to like it.
All right, this is about an actual trail that is up in northern Montana, goes up into southern Canada, just like the Chisholm Trail goes from Texas all the way up to Montana. So this is an old cow trail, and I picked a part of my area up in Montana to write a song about. Riding, roping, loping, laughing out on a hoop-up trail. When the day is done, we'll have our fun, telling tall ones and singing old songs. Well, now cinch up your cap, boys, screw her down tight. The hoop-up trail is a rocky ride over prickly pear and gumbo wheel, from bottom north and away we go. Riding, roping, loping, laughing out on a hoop-up trail. When the day is done, we'll have our fun, telling tall ones and singing old songs. Watch out! Well, now Gus is a hand who rides for the brand. He slips his noose on a salty cayuse. Well, the morning is brisk, he's a feeling risky. With a touch of his spur, he soars like a bird. Riding, roping, loping, laughing out on a hoop-up trail. When the day is done, we'll have our fun, telling tall ones and singing old songs and yodeling. Here we go. Oh, that was fun. Thank you.
So, Mr. Wylie, I understand that you know a lot about horses.
Yes, I love horses, and I raise cutting horses. And those of you who don't know what cutting horses are horses that are bred and trained to work the cattle, to actually cut a cow away from a herd. That's why we call them cutting horses. And usually the best horse on the ranch, the boss's top horse, is a cutting horse, because it takes the brightest horse and the most athletic horse to actually be agile enough to remove a cow away from a herd. Because cows are herd animals, they want to stay together, and a horse can keep that cow away from the herd, and that's how we came up with the cutting horse. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Now, we're going to play a piece that you wrote, and it's called Manolito, and I wondered if you could share with us, who is Manolito?
Well, Manolito was a cutting horse that I raised and trained. He was a little horse. When I first got him, he was kind of like the ugly duckling of the horse world. He didn't look very good. He had a big cut on his leg. He was kind of undernourished, and I kind of felt sorry for him and said, you know, little horse, maybe if you came to our place, we could feed you really good and take care of the cut, and you could grow up to be a beautiful cutting horse. And you know what? That's what he became, a beautiful cutting horse, and he did really well in competition. And actually, I have a little bit of Manolito with me here. I don't know if you can see this, but that's a horsetail, a little piece of a horsetail, and it travels with me wherever I go, all over the world, singing cowboy music. Yeah.
And where does Manolito live today?
Well, Manolito, you know, so we raise horses, and then eventually we have to find a new home for him because we always have new horses coming to our place. So I had to find a home for Manolito, and somebody called me up from San Diego, California, wanting to know about Manolito, and that's where he lives today. He's about 12 years old, I think, and he lives a few miles out of San Diego. So this weekend, on Saturday, tomorrow, I'm going to go see Manny. Yes.
That's so cool.
Yeah, but right now I'm going to sing about Manolito.
That's right. Now we're going to sing about him. So you wrote this very special song for this very special horse, Manolito.
Right. It's called Manolito el Caballo Bonito, which means Manny, the beautiful horse. Bonito, born to carry the saddle. Manolito el caballo bonito, el gato and cotton the cattle. When put to the test, he'll give you his best. Mi amigo, mi muchacho. Manolito el caballo bonito, watch him dance to and fro. Manolito el caballo bonito, born on el llano de Cañada. Manolito el caballo bonito, he's the pride of El Caballada. With his tail in the sand, he's in command. He sabe the business bueno. Manolito el caballo bonito, watch him dance to and fro. Watch him dance. Manolito el caballo bonito, el nieto of the great Travelina. Manolito el caballo bonito, he's as quick as the wild javelina. With his tail in the sand, he's in command. He sabe the business bueno. Manolito el caballo bonito, watch him dance to and fro. Watch him dance to and fro. Manolito, thank you.
So this next piece is another piece that you wrote as well, but you told me earlier that the words come from, you didn't write the words came from someplace pretty special.
Yes, the words are very old. They're about 130 years old. You know, a lot of cowboy music usually starts out as words or poetry. We have a lot of cowboy poets. Poetry is a good way to celebrate our landscape, our heritage, our lifestyle. A lot of the old artists and writers did it through poetry because with words, you can paint pictures with words. You can tell stories with words, and sometimes it's amazing what you can do with words, and that's what I love about cowboy music. You can listen to the words, and you can see this beautiful landscape that they paint. So 130 years ago, a poet wrote this beautiful words. The name of the poem was Alaska, not the state Alaska, but about this beautiful Mexican maiden named Alaska, and this cowboy fell in love with the beautiful maiden, and they lived happily ever after.
And it's a really cool song. Now let me tell you a little secret. There's 2 spots in here where the orchestra claps, but it only happens for about 6 or 7 seconds. So you're going to want to clap, but I'm going to ask you not to clap because it kind of gets us off up here. But if you want to keep the beat, you could maybe tap your toe a little bit or your toe like in your shoe to keep the beat, because we do it and then we stop and then it comes back at the end. So if you could just use your ears, listen to the words in this beautiful music, I think you're going to enjoy it even more. This is Alaska.
Fresh air. Yeah. I sigh for the cancer after the cattle crack up the whips like shots in the battle. The medley of hooves and horns and heads that wars and wrangles, scatters and spreads. I want free life. I want fresh air. Alaska. Used to ride on Mount Scrape Mustang by my side with blue serape and bright bell spur. I laughed with joy as I looked at her. Little she cared for books or creeds, and Ave Maria was all she needs. Little she cared save to be by my side, to ride with me, to ever ride from San Saba's shore to Lavaca's tide. The green beneath and the blue above. Dash and danger, life and love. And Alaska, I want free life. I want fresh air. She was as bold as the billows that beat. She was as wild as the breezes that blow. From her little head to her little feet, swayed in a suppleness to and fro. By each gust of passion, a sapling vine that grows on the edge of a Kansas bluff and wars with the wind when the weather is rough. It's like this Alaska, this love of mine. Her eyes were brown, a deep, deep brown. Her hair was darker than her eye. Something in her smile, something in her frown, cool crimson lip and instep high. See now, she was alive in every limb with feeling to the fingertips. And when the sun is like a fire, the sky one shining soft sapphire, love does not drink in little sips. The green beneath and the blue above. Dash and danger, life and love. And Alaska, I want free life. I want fresh air. After the cattle, a crack of the whips like shots in the battle. The medley of hooves and horns and heads that wars and wrangles, scatters and spreads. That wars and wrangles, scatters and spreads. In Texas, down by the Rio Grande. Alaska.
So you've probably been noticing in a lot of his songs, Wylie sings the words and he plays the guitar, but sometimes he also does something else with his voice called yodeling. And I have a feeling that this is something that you do a lot of, you're very good at, and I wondered, do you think you have a second to teach us all how to yodel?
I think so. Who wants to learn how to yodel? All right. Well, first let me tell you about yodeling, where it came from. It's an old vocal art form and actually comes from the European Alpine region. The goat herders needed something, a voice that would carry through the thin mountain air long distances. And the best voice for that was called a falsetto voice. That's when you sing way up here in the top of your head. So they would communicate with one another by these yodels, and eventually it became part of their folk music, and then the cowboys heard it and thought, you know, this would be kind of cool for cowboy music. So we're going to teach you how to yodel, and it's a very simple thing to do. It sounds kind of complicated, but I'll bet when you go home tonight, not only will you be able to teach your mom and dad how to line dance, and your brothers and sisters, but you will also teach them how to yodel. Is that a deal? All right. You just follow me in. Starts out with a knock-knock joke. You guys all know how that goes. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Little old lady.
Little old lady who?
That's the foundation of the yodel. Little old lady who. Now just follow me. Little old lady who. Little old lady who. Little old lady who. Little old lady who. You guys know how to yodel. Give yourselves a round of applause.
All right, thank you so much.
Go teach the world how to yodel. We need more yodelers.
We're going to play a piece now called Cattle Call, and I wondered, Mr. Wylie, could you tell us a little bit about this piece, Cattle Call?
Yeah, so yodeling is a vocal art form, and it's there's sides to yodeling which are very fast and kind of fun, but there's also a side to yodeling that's very soft and beautiful and lonely. And so the cowboys thought, you know, that would be a good sound to use when we're on the trail with a herd of 1,200 cattle, and on the day they've walked all day, and at the night they have to rest and eat. So they didn't want the cattle to stampede, so they wanted them to relax a little bit, to calm down. And so the yodel, the soft, slow yodel, which is the type of yodel that I'm going to do right now, is how the cowboy put the cattle to sleep, kind of a cowboy lullaby. So I'm going to pretend you guys are about 1,200 cattle, and I'm going to sing to you like a cowboy would sing to a herd of cows. All right? Well, the cattle are prowling, the coyotes are howling, out where the doggy's born. Spurs are a-jingling, the cowboys are singing his lonesome cattle call. He's brown as a berry from riding the prairie, and he speaks with an old western drawl. He's singing his cattle call. For hours he will ride, range far and wide, while the night winds blow up a squall. His heart is a feather in all kinds of weather. He sings his cattle call. Thank you. Now we're going to wake you up again. Now that we've kind of calmed and relaxed you, we're going to try to wake you up. You know, part of cowboy music is just celebrating our lifestyle. That's any kind of music, whether it's rock and roll music or classical music, Beethoven, and it's just about celebrating this wonderful lifestyle that we live. And we all live out west, and so we're going to do an older Western song that kind of expresses a sentiment of a lot of cowboys, which is, don't fence me in. In other words, give me lots of room, give me lots of space. So you're going to sing along with this. This is a sing-along song, and it's going to go like this. I'm going to raise my hand, and when I do that, you answer, don't fence me in. Let's try that. Don't fence me in. All right. Now we're going to sing along with the symphony. Just give me land, lots of land under starry skies above, but don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open spaces that I love, but don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze, listening to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Oh, send me off forever, I ask you please. Don't mess me in. Just give me lots of land under starry skies above to ride around. Let me ride through the wide open spaces that I love all day long. Take me right to the ridge where the west commences. I'll gaze at the moon till I lose my senses. I can't look at hobbles, I can't stand fences. No, don't fence me in. Don't fence me in. sit by my side if you love me. Do not hasten to bid me adieu. Just remember the Red River Valley and the cowboy who loves you so true. Sing along. So come sit by my side if you love me. Do not hasten to bid me adieu. Just remember the Red River Valley and the cowboy who loves you so true. Do you think of this fond heart you're breaking? Do you think of the cast your spell on me? Do you think of the fond heart you're breaking? And how lonely I will be. Everybody. So come sit by my side if you love me. Do not hasten to bid me adieu. Just remember the Red River Valley and the cowboy who loves you so true. Just remember the Red River Valley and the cowboy